The moment you stop needing some people, you stop feeding something in them. And that is when their tone changes. They were patient when you needed advice, warm when you needed reassurance, available when you needed help. But the second you become more self-sufficient, they get colder, sharper, easier to offend. Not because you hurt them, because you stopped serving their ego. And before we go further, tell me in the comments, who gets angrier when you stop needing them? Friends, family, a partner, or people at work? Stay until the end. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand what their anger really means, how to spot it early, and how to protect your independence without shrinking yourself to keep other people comfortable. Here's what happens when you stop needing people. They get angry. Not all of them. Only the ones who are benefiting from your dependency. You used to ask them for advice, validation, help, support. And they gave it. Not always because they cared. Sometimes because it gave them a role, a position, a kind of quiet control over your life. Then you grow. You stop asking. Stop checking in. Stop waiting for permission. Stop needing rescue. And suddenly, they're upset. You thought they'd be proud. Instead, they act offended because your independence exposed something ugly. They were never just helping you. They were getting something from your dependence. Your friend used to be your go-to for everything. Every decision, every doubt, every problem. Then you started figuring things out yourself. Making choices without consulting them, solving things without their approval. And they got weird. You never talk to me anymore. You've changed. You think you're too good for my advice now? Not because they miss you, because they miss being needed. At work, it looks the same. A manager positions themselves as essential. You're not ready for that yet. Let me handle it. You need me for this. So you rely on them. Then you build your own skills, your own relationships, your own leverage. And suddenly they turn cold. Less support, more resistance, more subtle punishment. Because you stopped needing them. And that threatened their control. In relationships, it gets worse. Your partner liked being necessary, emotionally, financially, socially. Then you became steadier, more grounded, more independent. And they panicked, started fights over nothing, accused you of being distant, said you were changing. Translation: you stopped needing me. And I don't know how to relate to you without control. Marcus Aurelius saw this clearly. People do not always love your freedom. Some people preferred the version of you that was easier to influence. And when you outgrow that role, their loyalty changes. Not because you betrayed them, because you became harder to control. Let me show you how deep this goes. You used to need your friend's opinion on everything. What to wear, who to date, what move to make, what decision to trust. And they loved it. They sat in the center of your life like your personal compass. Then you started trusting yourself. And they noticed immediately. You didn't even ask me. You used to value my opinion. I would have told you not to do that. They're not angry because you made a bad choice. They're angry because you made a choice without them. Because their role was never just friend, it was gatekeeper. And you replaced them with your own judgment. That's a loss of power, and people rarely handle that well. At work, this becomes even more obvious. Your boss liked being the gate to everything. Information, access, opportunity. You had to go through them. That made them feel important. Then you built direct relationships, started solving problems without them, started getting noticed without their involvement. Now they're irritated. You're going over my head. You need to loop me in. You're not being a team player. Translation: you found a way forward that doesn't require me, and I resent that. In relationships, the pattern is brutal. Your partner liked that you needed constant reassurance, needed emotional stabilizing, needed their approval to feel okay. It made them feel secure. Then you learned how to regulate yourself, how to calm yourself, how to stand on your own emotionally. And they felt the shift. You don't need me anymore. You're distant now. You're not the same. For once, they're telling the truth. You are not the same. You are stronger. And that threatens anyone whose identity depended on your weakness. That's the pattern. Some people do not love you most when you are strongest. They love you most when you are easiest to manage. Dependent, uncertain, needy, always checking in. That version of you made them feel powerful. This version of you forces them to face themselves. And that is why the anger comes. Not always loud. Sometimes passive-aggressive. Sometimes cold. Sometimes disguised as concern. But the message is the same. Come back to the smaller version of yourself that made me feel important. If someone ever got mad at you for becoming more independent, subscribe. Because what I'm about to show you will help you stop confusing control with care and guilt with love. The solution is not to become dependent again. It is to see clearly what their anger is really saying. Here's what's actually happening when they get angry. First truth. Your dependency was giving them something. Maybe status, maybe control, maybe purpose, maybe emotional significance. That is why your growth feels expensive to them. They are losing a role they built part of themselves around. I had a mentor like this. As long as I was learning, they were generous. The moment I started succeeding without them, they became colder, more critical, almost competitive. That told me everything. Some people love guiding you until your growth stops centering them. Second truth. Independence reveals the real relationship. When you stop needing someone, you discover what the bond was built on. If it was built on respect, it survives your growth. If it was built on dependency, it starts cracking the moment you stand on your own. Their anger is information. It tells you the relationship was not equal. It was structured around your need. Third truth. Some people only know how to love through rescue. Their model is simple. You struggle, they save. You doubt, they guide. You fall apart. They become necessary. That is how they feel valuable. So when you stop needing rescue, they do not know how to relate to you. You are no longer their project. And for insecure people, that feels like rejection. Fourth truth. Your growth is not betrayal. They will frame it that way. You've changed. You're different. You used to need me? Yes. That is called growth. Do not let guilt turn your progress into something you apologize for. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the best revenge is not to become like them. Do not become smaller, weaker, or more dependent just to keep their ego calm. Fifth truth. Do not shrink to restore their comfort. This is where people lose themselves. They ask for advice they no longer need. Act confused when they are not. Play small just to reduce tension. Do not do that. Because once people learn that your independence can be punished, they will punish it every time. Sixth truth. Let them be angry. Their reaction to your growth is not your responsibility. You do not owe anyone continued weakness just because they got used to it. You do not need to explain your strength. Apologize for your boundaries, or perform helplessness to make someone else feel important. Let them be angry, and keep growing. Seventh truth. Pay attention to who gets proud. Not everyone gets upset when you stop needing them. Some people are genuinely happy to see you become stronger. Those are the real ones. They never wanted control. They wanted your growth. Keep those people close. Final truth. When you stop needing people and they get angry, that is not proof you did something wrong. It is often proof that you finally broke a pattern that was benefiting them. You grew, you got clearer, you became harder to control. And that exposed everyone who only felt safe when you were smaller. Let them reveal themselves. The right people do not panic when you become stronger. They respect it. They adapt to it. They meet you there. Never apologize for outgrowing dependency. That is not betrayal. That is maturity. And anyone who gets angry at your growth was never attached to your highest self. They were attached to the version of you that needed them most.